Also, YouTube family, we are back with another crazy one. And today, we are literally going to be breaking down a trade which we actually did take on Friday, where we actually did take just 100 USD to 2000 USD, right? And as we all know, I always keep saying that capital is never the problem. With precision, you can literally achieve all of this, right? So far, every single trade level was called out right there in the community where we actually did a couple of flips, and then on Friday we actually did close the week with 100 to 2000 USD, right? So if you're new to this particular YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, right? And if you're looking to be part of our Telegram community, don't forget to click on the link in this particular video description to be part of our free Telegram community, right? So let's hop on into this, right? So far on our free Telegram community, on the trade calls, right? This was where we actually did send in the trade setup right here. And we actually did this particular crazy flip, right? As you can see, we actually did have a starting balance of 2000 of 100 bucks, right? And we are literally floating 2000 USD. So the question is, how did we actually do this, right? So now let's get into this particular breakdown. Now, before I continue, Steve, we've actually had a couple of breakdowns, right? Where we actually did take in $92 to 400, and then we did a 1K to 7K, we did a 500 to 5K, right? And we did a 500 to 3K, and we did a 500 to 7K, which ended as a break-even, right? And we did a 50 to 1K, right? So you can literally refer back to the previous video, right? On this particular YouTube channel, right? Where I did a breakdown on how we actually did that. So now let's get straight into this particular. Now this is gold, and as we all know, I only do trade gold, right? I only do flip on gold and BTC majorly, right? I mean, these are literally the volatile pairs which I prefer trading, right? And I have dropped a lot of insight on how to like approach this particular um asset, right? You can literally check the YouTube channel right there. They are literally videos on how to like approach this, right? So far, how did we actually break this down, right? So I'm particularly a day trader, and then taking a look at this, we actually did send gold all the way to the downside, taking a buy all the way to sell from this particular point, right? And as you can see, the results are literally there in the free Telegram community. We actually did take this particular sell all the way to the downside. And how did we actually do this? Now, the area of focus is literally the buy, right, which we actually did take on Friday. So I'm not literally going to be breaking down the sell. So right here on this particular point, we did see that you actually did get a valid lower low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right, and higher high. Now, when you talk about structure, right, you always have talked about the fact that price is always going to keep respecting the previous structures and price. That is to say, these are literally going to help price propel retracement, right? So if per se, we actually do have a significant trend like this, right? So let's take this, right? We actually have a trend like this, okay? High, high, higher, low, higher, high, right? And then price breaks all the way to the downside, right? We know for sure we actually want to see price come back into this, reject, and this, right? Now, this is what a lot of people think structure is all about, right? But literally going to like give you a little, should we call this a little uh, secret, right, on how you can literally approach structure. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, price is literally giving you a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? Now, we know for sure that we are meant to look at for buys continuation as per se in the traditional trading world, right? Key level or breaking retest and so on, right? And when prices to like actually give you a valid reversal, you might want to see this, right? Why price keeps doing its stuff, right? Why price keep coming into this, right? Now the question right here is which particular levels and price did we actually see the formation of these levels? Okay, this level, this level, this level, and this level, right? It's easier for you to anticipate the formation of a lower high based off the previous trend, right? But how good are you in understanding when the retracement is literally going to come in, right? Now, how do we know this? As price actually did try all these particular levels, right? If there be a level that price has not literally played in the previous price action, right? We know for sure that we should expect to see price come back for it, okay? So that is to say, if this be a level that price failed to tap into, right? The price failed to tap into, right? Expect this particular level to actually hold price in the significant future, right? Or let's say in the next significant trend. So this particular level in price is going to serve as a bounce off for price to come back into this other level and continue all the way to the downside. Now, don't forget we actually did look up this particular cell, which I'm literally going to show you in the free Telegram community, right? Where we actually did anticipate a flip, right? As we did say, this was all about precision, right? Price failed to tap into this and then we dropped, right? So we actually did cover every single level right there in the community. Now, this be a key level that price did not literally tap into, right? So as price failed to tap into this, we actually understand that there was literally no cause for alarm, right? This was literally going to serve in the nearest future. Price already did play off this as we actually did take price all the way to the upside, which is literally right there also in the community. Now, price came back into this. Now, coming back into a key level is never alone, right? As we actually want to look at for the confluences that are literally present. And as we all know, we only do trade on the foundational basis of SNR, right? That is the story Malaysian support and resistance. So taking a look at this, we actually did get the presence of a pattern right here. So I will break this down right now by showing you all the pattern present here. So this was practically a push to the upside. Price gave us this right here, retraced, gave us this particular one, and this was what formed the basis of a key level, right? So in the other sense, this is what you actually do have in price. Now with this happening right here, we actually call this a QMO, okay? So if you switch to the line chart, you can see a significant pattern on this, right? This is particularly a QMO, and we all know a QMO to be a very strong reversal pattern, right? And you will remember this is also a key level, but now the key level comes with the confluence of a QML, right? So this suggests that we actually should look out for buy bounce of this particular level. Now, do we actually just scale in of this particular QML, knowing fully well that we cherish precision and we look out for precision in price if you actually want to do what we do, all right? If you actually want to like flip the way we do, right? So we actually do look this up. This was the level we actually had right here, right? Now, if you apply the concept of refining, you actually will see that we actually did have price of the lower time frame presenting us with a level which is also nested in the entire level right there, okay? So this is where we actually did have the 30 minutes QML. This is where we actually had the 4-hour QML, right? And in the overall zone, we can see that the 4-hour level has its QMO. And when we skip to the 30 minutes, right, there was also a QMO present before the entire push all the way to the upside, right? So with this right here, you can literally scale it or place a limit order right here, okay? Now, this is definitely dependent on you, right? So this is where we actually did have a QMO coming in, right? So if you look at what this did in price, you can see how sweet this particular precision was in price, right? But now there is practically further refining, which you actually do. And as I did say, if you're new to this particular YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the link in this particular video description to be part of our free Telegram community. You can refer back to previous videos on how we actually do refine our entries, right? On price getting to this particular point, as we all know, this particular method offers you crazy precision in price. And sometimes this may not necessarily all be the scenario, but let's say 100 times, you're literally going to get your precision 90 out of like 100, okay? So we all had a limit order placed at this particular point, right? Which I did take a quick 150 pips out of the market straight up right here. And we actually did have $100, right? Now we did literally look to like flip this 100 USD. Now the question was, how do we actually scale in to actually have a zero to no drawdown, right? Now this is the answer. Since I know for sure that I literally don't want to have a big stop loss as much as 80 pips, which is literally a little bit insignificant due to the current volatility, right? We needed to like scaling with a lower time frame confirmation, right? Where impulse is literally guaranteed. So if I scale all the way to the lower time frame of the 1 minute, right? We actually did have a 30 minutes QML coming in price. And after the 30 minutes QML did get mitigated, right? As you can see right here, it was literally a good thing that we actually did get the presence of a 30 minutes engulfing candle right here, okay? So let's scale all the way to the lower time frame. So how did we actually take the entry right on this particular point? We actually did see that price did play of this QML on the 1 minute, right? On the 5 minutes. So this is how the entry was literally like. So the entry was at this particular point right here. So it's very true that whenever you literally cherish precision, right? Whenever you like um you put your mind to like having precise entry, right? You can literally do any single thing you actually want, right? I mean, there's literally no limitations to what you can do. So at this particular point, this was where original entry was at, right? But now we actually did fail to like pop in right there and we have to like take our entry all at this particular point, having a 0 point. Let's take a look at this trade. So we actually did take, as usual, someone in the community did a 90 to $1,000, right? But this is it. This was literally the entry right here. We actually did have a 0.1 trade stacked into like 5 positions, right? And each of them gave over 424 USD profit, right? So that was literally how we were able to like smash a 100 to 2,000, right? Even though there was literally more potentials for price to go all the way to the upside, right? We actually did close our trade right at this particular point, judging from the risk reward of this to this, right? And price did go all the way to this until we tapped into our current sale level, which was sent into the community, right? So far, it's all an easy peasy, and I'll keep telling you all this, right? With precision, there's literally no limitations to what you can do. Now, for you all who literally want to know, this particular concept can still be applied to problems, and all you need to do is bring your head down and study this particular concept. It's all easy, right? No complication, and you can literally do it, all right? So as I did say, don't forget to like and subscribe to this particular YouTube channel, and click on the link in this particular video's description to be part of our free Telegram community. See you guys on the next slide, guys. Have a great weekend, you all.